gives it a ride. Tie game. How about that? Gonzalez back to the track, and he drops it, and the go-ahead run is in. Are you kidding? It was gone!
And now the mercy rule is officially in play. What an amazing couple of days of baseball for Team Italy.
Well, more excitement here in Mexico, where we have had some wild games, and they have been exciting. They've provided offense. All of these teams have. So for Puerto Rico, an opportunity to go 3-0 if they can beat Italy. That would be a guarantee they'll move on. For Italy, a chance to be 2-1, which would put them right into the mix based on the outcome of the second game to be played here tonight.
It's amazing how we talk about the runs, how much they count, of course, because you need more runs to win ball games than the opponent, but also the runs you allowed become at the very end the deciding factor as to you move on or not. And of course, it's all about having the advantage, and we said it from the beginning, of just a balanced attack when it comes down to the guys on the mound.
So put simply, for this first game, for Puerto Rico, a win, they're going to go to the second round. A loss, Puerto Rico would just be back in the mix. For Italy, even if they lose, they're still in the mix, and if they win, they're in the mix. So this is not an elimination game for Italy. The only guarantee we can give you is the victory picked up by Puerto Rico moves them on to the second round.
And they are playing with so much confidence. You talk about the offense. Puerto Rico's hitting .338 as a team. Italy not far behind, though, hitting .312 themselves.
The numbers are unbelievable for both of these teams. The problem for Italy is opponents have hit .366 against them, and opponents have also scored 20 runs. That's a very high average and a lot of runs, so they've got to find some pitching here today to try and hold down Puerto Rico.
You know, even breaking it down a little bit more, their manager, Marco Mazier, was telling me today, well, we knew there was going to be some issues for our bullpen, but we have to avoid the walks, the free passes, and also think about how many hitters they've hit. I mean, hit batsmen, Gary, they have all scored of the guys they've hit. So just think about simplifying things. He wants guys to go out there and trust. And also, man in scoring position, it's not about throwing through a brick wall. It's about executing pitches and trusting the guys behind you, behind the play, because you have Cervelli, you have Butera. Those guys can guide you along on what needs to be done with each pitch.
This is the first game of the doubleheader here today. Mexico will take on Venezuela in the game coming up tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern time and 8 local. But first in hand here is Puerto Rico and Italy. And we'll see whether the offensive numbers these two teams have put up will continue. For Italy, they had a dramatic 10-9 win against Mexico, scoring 5 runs without recording an out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Then they would lose to Venezuela 11-10. On the other side of it, Puerto Rico's 2 wins. They shut out Venezuela 11-0, and they defeated Mexico by a score of 9-4. Again, in that ball game, Puerto Rico coming through with some late inning runs.
And it's so balanced that manager Edwin Rodriguez, as he told us from day one, wants to use everybody, keep some people fresh, and certainly know also what is at stake. They know it's all about continuing that momentum they built on the mound, which has been absolutely superb. Puerto Rico has a 1.13 ERA, which is remarkable considering that pretty much of all the managers we've seen, Gary, he's the one that's mapped out a plan with 2 starters, and that plan so far has worked beautifully.
Now, it's interesting today, Puerto Rico is going to rest 4 starters. They have 4 players who are going to be in their lineup today who have not played in the 2 games here in the WBC in Mexico. I think that's necessary because they've been tough games that they've played in, and they've got a starter out. Molina's one of those who's worked hard behind the plate, but it'll be interesting to see whether they are as powerful with the 4 players coming off the bench, so-called. Now, these are all outstanding players, as they were when they had the 4 starters in.
Yeah, let's see how everything's approached by those guys taking the field now, and you make a very good point, but the point from Edwin Rodriguez is, as he told the guys when he was building the team with Alex Cora, their general manager, I'm going to need 28 guys to go out there and get it done. And beyond that, as we keep moving along, the guys that are on the designated pitchers list also are going to play a big part. Certainly, I think it's a welcoming sight for those players in the clubhouse, knowing that their manager has a lot of trust in them.
Yep, they all came here to play. All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup. Italy will be the visiting team. It'll be Nimmo in center, Andreoli in right. Cervelli will be the DH today. Seguin's going to play in left field. Descalso at second base, the 2 for 4. 3 RBIs against Venezuela for him. Colabello's got first base, Liddy at third. Butera will do the catching, and Cicchini at shortstop. They have stuck to the lineup Italy has that they have used in the first 2 games.
And for Puerto Rico, it's all about Mr. Berríos, Jose Berríos. And Gary, he has electric stuff. Can he go out there and tame it down a little bit and be effective?
Well, we're going to find out. He is a youngster. He's only 22 years old. Jose Berríos out of Puerto Rico. He made his major league debut last year with the Twins. 3-7, 8.02 ERA in 14 games.
What he needs to do is avoid a rush delivery, because the ball will take off, get up in the zone, and he becomes, of course, way too mechanical. Expand the zone. The stuff is good enough for you to go out there and see how eager, how anxious are these Italian hitters, and showcase. You have electric stuff. Showcase it within the strike zone.
All right, we are ready to go. Another beautiful day. We've had great weather here just outside of Guadalajara for these games in the World Baseball Classic. It's 73 degrees, little breeze out to left field to start the ball game. Here's the defense. It will be lined up with Pagan, Hernandez, and Aviles. Hernandez and Aviles are playing in their first games here. Correa, Lindor, Baez, Vargas playing in his first game over at first base. Behind the plate, Perez, his first game behind the plate. Beltran has been the DH for all 3 games.
And this could be the biggest challenge defensively for Puerto Rico. You have a couple of infielders, mainly out in the outfield, and we know it's not an easy task in this ballpark with the turf, with the dimensions, and with the thin air to play the outfield.
We're ready to go. And we are underway. First game of our doubleheader day. And the pitch will be taken for a strike.
And of course, I'm talking about Hernandez and Aviles. Both have experience also in the outfield, but more experience around the infield.
You see Nimmo has put up the 2 for 10, a homer. He has had a couple of RBIs and has been their leadoff batter, left-handed hitter. He will take the pitch away from the 22-year-old. 1 ball, 1 strike. Some clouds in the air. There'll be some glare here today, but much cooler with that 73-degree temperature to start than we've had for the previous games. Going for the outside corner, won't find it, and Nimmo will take it, and the count goes to 2-1. Or Nimmo in the games that he has played in that leadoff spot, the home run, 2 RBIs to go along with 1 walk and only 1 strikeout. So he's been able to get on base for them and to be a table setter. That one's going to be away. Berríos outside with it. The count goes to 3-1.
Working some good counts once again. This is what Italy has been able to capitalize on, as working counts, getting themselves good pitches to hit. And one thing we notice is how disciplined they are.
See the numbers for him. Last 4 seasons, minor leagues. Pacific Coast League leader last year, and he's on with a walk. That's the way Italy wanted to start the game. A free pass picked up. That'll be the 10th walk that they have picked up in this WBC series. So they get their leadoff man on base, and that's what Jose was talking about with Berríos. Can he settle down? Can he throw strikes?
And there's something else that Italy does have in mind behind the plate today for Puerto Rico is Robert Perez. And certainly we'll see if they want to go out there and test without Yadi Molina on that base running.
Yep. Pitch on the way. He goes after it to center field. That one hit pretty hard. Way back at the wall, looking up. Goodbye home run off the batter's eye. First pitch seen by Andreoli, who has been their leader. He picks up his 2nd home run, and RBIs 5 and 6 here in Mexico, and Italy 2 up and 2 in.
Is exactly the plan they had against Berríos, is to make sure you do not expand, even though he will try to get you to expand, stay within, but after a walk, he's got to come in there, perhaps not with his best fastball. And this one got the best of home plate and also the very best of one, John Andreoli again.
Boy, is Andreoli having a great WBC. 4 hits, 11 at-bats, 2 home runs, and 6 RBIs for their right fielder. And Andreoli puts him up on top early. And that's something else they have done, the home runs. That's their 7th home run that they have hit in this WBC. Here's Cervelli, the designated hitter in the ball game. He's been working behind the plate. He's been in all 3 games as a starter, this time in the DH role. In fact, the 4 hits he has picked up, Cervelli is tied now with Andreoli for leader in the hit mark. Boy, It's a great sign for the skipper. Matisari getting his ball club from Italy on the board early.
Yeah, Marco Mazzieri, Gary was telling me, he goes, we're focused, but he goes, there's a team that I don't really have to say a whole lot to.
Yeah. Well, we'll raise it again. If you have not been with us for other games where Italy's played, there's a lot of emotion going here. He's retiring as the manager when this is over. Players know it. He is a beloved figure by his players. I mean, they can't do enough and say enough about him. So there's that undercurrent of wanting to do this for him, to move on and have a really big classic for Italy.
Well put, that emotional undercurrent that's carrying this team. And he says, hey, it's emotional for me, but I can't say it enough myself. They are a reflection of who he is.
Yeah, they are. They go about it, everything very professionally, very calm, under control. I mean, I think it's fair to say they may not have so-called most talent when you look at the names individually, but as a team in getting things done, I mean, nobody's done better than what they have done. Ground ball, that one he got jammed on, will go to second base. Baez on the charge will make the running throw over. And Cervelli is retired on the ground ball out. So a 2-0 lead for Italy. One down here in the first inning. That'll bring Saget into the plate. He has been their cleanup batter, getting the start in left field in this classic. Couple of hits, 8 at bats, a homer, 2 RBIs.
These big boys, Seguin, Descalzo, Colabello, Liddy, have all come up big for them in important situations. Then you take the bottom of the order, and the at-bats we've seen from Butera and Cicchini himself yesterday, just grinding it out time after time.
Yeah, they have had up and down the lineup good at-bats in the first 2 games. That one looks like it'll miss a little bit inside. Dan Bellino, Major League umpire, veteran at the plate. Santos Castillo out of the Dominican Republic at first. Doug Eddings at second base, the crew chief from MLB. And Winford Berkman's Dutch umpire at third. That'll be handled in center. And there are 2 away. Hernandez puts that one away. Seguin is down.
Are you still wondering what happened to the catcher's box?
That's funny, isn't it?
Huh?
We were watching Dan Bellino. He came out to receive the lineup cards. Of course, there's a beautiful work done by the grounds crew. He took a foot and all of the chalk he moved on behind home plate. I mean, I don't know why, but Dan just came out there and just swept it all away with his foot. So the chalk's all over the place.
Hey, maybe he knows the dimensions so well. He goes, this is not the right one. Let's be accommodated.
That was pretty good. That'll go to center as well. Hernandez is there to haul it in. Descalzo is retired. But first inning for Italy, 2 runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left, as Andreoli delivers the homer, 2-0. Puerto Rico, the home team here, will start before they ever come to the plate with a deficit of 2-0. Take a look at the lineup. It'll be Pagan, Lindor, and Correa. Beltran, Baez, and Vargas. Perez, Aviles, and Hernandez. Francisco Lindor. A couple of home runs, 3 RBIs against Mexico. 1 bomb that he hit to right field that cleared everything. Leadoff batter is Angel Pagan. He will stand in against Luis Lugo. Go after the first pitch down the line, fair ball. It'll hit off the facade. A fan touched it, and the ball's dead. It went underneath the covering that's in the front of the stands, and then a fan reached in and hauled it out. So ground rule double. That didn't take long.
Not at all. We got a youngster on the mound who really is facing the biggest challenge he's ever faced at any level. And Luis Lugo, who was actually born in Venezuela.
There you see the numbers. This was an A ball, 8-5, 4 ERA. Strikeouts about a 2-to-1 ratio. Strikeout to walks. Whip a little high. He's got his work cut out for him. You're right. Here is Francisco Lindor, the switch hitter. 3 for 7, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. Just a spark plug on this team, as was expected, but even maybe a little more than was expected with what he has produced here. He has drawn a walk, and he has not struck out in the first 2 games. Lindor's made contact. Last night we were talking about the home run he hit, the first of 2. It went over that billboard. That is a huge home run. Number one, it's way out of the ballpark on the berm out there, and it's so tall. To get it out there and over that is enormous. Wild pitch, runner goes to third. Boy, that ball rolls all the way beyond the dugout, but home plate is covered by Lugo.
There's one thing you don't see very often, and of course, because of the expanse foul territory here, even the third baseman might have come into play here and trying to recover a wild pitch. So for Drew Butera, who is behind the plate today, he goes, hey, Jose, whatever's working, I need to find out early. And here's one where might have been a cross-up with the signs, because definitely it is a pitch that he should have handled.
Yeah, he had the glove turned the wrong way. Runner at third base now, and a grounder back to the mound. Runner not coming. Lugo makes sure and will get the out on Lindor at first base. Well, there's one away and leaves the runner on at third.
Well, all those little things that sometimes can go wrong and really expand an inning. Did a very good job catching the baseball, looking at the runner, setting his feet, and throwing the ball overhand to first base.
So it gets the out early in the ball game. The infield's going to play back, not going to worry about the run for the moment. Correa coming up. He's got a couple of RBIs in this WBC. 1 for 7, a home run that provided that for him. Correa, he too has put the ball in play, not striking out in the first 2 games. And the pitch will be taken outside for a ball.
The opportunity here.
Pass ball's been ruled on that, by the way, allowing Pagan to move up.
And that's the right one.
Yeah. He had the glove turned the wrong way, which pretty much tells you we got crossed up somehow on that. Fastball is going to be away from Lugo. Lugo's got one of the problems that tall pitchers have, and that's trying to maintain that release point.
Keep it all together.
Yep. 6'5", 200-pounder. And that one is going to go up high. Tall pitchers have a lot more body movement going on, and oftentimes finding that release point early in the game is tough, and then maintaining it's tough.
Because it's about coordination. One point check after the other, and they all have to line up properly for it to be effective.
And that's going to be outside. With both these pitchers in the first inning having some problems.
Let's take a look at 3 key points for me in regards to Luis Lugo, the youngster with a very good arm of the Indians organization. He needs to incorporate an effective mix. In other words, you cannot sit one pattern against these Puerto Rican batters. They've shown that. Drive downhill, just like Gary's talking about. Stay tall, but continue on the path down that slope to get you to the glove. And like your teammates do, go out there and compete every pitch.
So first and third, only one away. And here is Beltran, their DH. And he will take an off-speed delivery in there for a strike. Beltran has picked up 4 hits here in the first 2 games and has had 3 RBIs. He's gotten on base. The infield hoping for a ground ball here to pick up a couple. Big lead at first. Up in the air. That is not deep. Runner is going to tag. Not going to go, though. Relay in to the cutoff man from Segedin. Beltran is retired. So a couple of big outs with a runner on at third base, and there are 2 away.
Oh, how about that? He's made pitches to the dangerous Francisco Lindor. He played it very carefully. With Carlos Correa, can't blame it. He tried to nibble away. Correa didn't bite, but also he didn't give in to the count by throwing a strike, just lobbing it in there. And against Beltran now, did some little off pace, shallow fly ball, and Healy also doing a good job hitting the cutoff man.
Javier Baez, another one of the home run hitters. Baez comes in first and third, 3 for 9, and the 4 RBIs for Baez has led this Puerto Rican team in runs batted in for the first 2 games. He's going to get another one just out of the reach of Cicchini. Run will score. Segedin gets it in. Baez comes through. He's got 5 ribbies now in the 2+ games and makes it a 2-1 Italy lead.
It's no wasting time. He knows his young pitcher on the mound is probably going to have a tough time repeating quality pitches, as Baez saw he did against Lindor and against Beltran, so he was ready. One mistake, and that's all it took. A little cut fastball just did not do enough for Javier Baez to smack it around on the pull side.
Here we go again. We talked about these 2 teams and their offenses, that it didn't take them long to push the start button. Just out of the reach of Cicchini that time at short. We'll get a look at Vargas for the first time. Kenny Vargas with the Minnesota Twins. His first WBC. Big guy, 6'5", 290. He was the Puerto Rican Winter League's MVP prior to the 16 season. And 47 games with the Twins last year. 230, 10 homers, 20 RBIs.
Vargas working on being selective, and he's showing it here against a lefty, and certainly a guy that is a switch hitter. Sometimes finds himself stronger from one side than the other, and the repetitions are important for him, especially from the right side.
First and second occupied with 2 down. Roller to short, right through the runner. Hard throw over to first base. Cicchini gets him, and that will do it here in the first inning. But Puerto Rico's on the board. They will pick up a run on a couple of hits. They leave 2 on base. Colabello coming up when we come back. Colabello is going to be coming to the plate. 2013, the last WBC. He was big time.
He was big time in so many ways for them, with the power, the ability to be a great situational hitter, but also just relaxing these guys and blowing those kisses out. So it all started for Team Italy. And Colabello enjoying every single moment again as their de facto captain.
Colabello will start it out here. Worth noting that in WBC history, these teams have met only once, and it came in 2013, and it was Puerto Rico eliminating Italy in the second round with a 4-3 game. So there's a little bit of what for here for Italy to get back at Puerto Rico, because 2013 was the first time that the Italian team had moved to the second round.
And Marco Mazzieri has been talking about those devastating losses at the point of saying, I think guys started believing, because we took those 2 teams that ended up going to the finals, Dominican and Puerto Rico, to the very end and getting beat by 1 run into something we can build off of.
I guess make believers out of yourselves. Colabello, first baseman. Fastball from Berrios is inside. Colabello, a home run in this WBC with 2 RBIs, go along with the 2 for 8 that he has put up. Outfield playing him very deep. Ball has carried extremely well here. It's another mile-high stadium. For baseball fans, compare it to Denver and the problems pitchers have trying to keep the ball in the yard.
Talking to Colabello today, he says, hey, I'm going to be playing today against my locker mate with the Indians in spring training. There he is, Frankie. He's calls him as everybody else, Paquito Lindor. And Colabello says you wouldn't believe his presence in the Indians clubhouse.
23 years old?
Yes.
Pitch on the way, and that will be foul back. Colabello with a pretty good cut on that one. Liddy and Butera to follow. Italy with a 1-1 record in this WBC. They overall through the years they've gone 5-8 in World Baseball Classic play. Liddy, one of their leaders, third baseman in the on-deck circle. 2 ball, 2 strikeout. Infield back very deep, and that's going to be a strike in the outside corner. Colabello goes down. Berrios gets his first K.
Colabello not happy and letting Tambolino know about it. But you know what happened here is the way Berrios throws the baseball, it's not easy to find it when he's got so much coming at you. And coming from that angle, so much deception. And throwing that glove at you with also a lot of leg movement. It could be a little time before you find that consistent release point.
The age-old question for pitchers like Berrios, can you throw enough strikes? You got the stuff. And it's tough for hitters to get to you, but you got to get it in the strike zone.
That's why he's had a tough time pitching at the big league level.
Yeah. That ball is into left field. Line drive will stay up. Pagan will get there, and he retires. Liddy. 2 down here in the second inning.
Yeah, so far Berrios has had trouble at the big league level with first pitch strike percentage, everything from converting 0-1 counts into 0-2 counts, finishing off batters. And again, there's times in sample sizes that are smaller that he's shown the ability to be dominant. But of course, he'll be dominant with consistency and with reps. The opportunity is there for him.
55% of his pitches for strikes on the first pitch, a little bit below the 61% major league average, and it makes such a difference for pitchers. If they can get that first strike, it gives them the advantage for the rest of the at bat.
And here's something he shared with me last year in his clubs in Minnesota. Disciplined hitters to him make a huge difference.
Yeah.
That late tail on a fastball against a lefty that starts in the outer third, and you have guys in the minor leagues chasing out of the zone. It doesn't happen very often, especially when hitters count in the big leagues.
It's the biggest change I think pitchers find. That one is out of here, way back in left field. Butera got it, and goodbye, home run. Launches one to left, the second home run for Italy in this ball game. Butera gets his second of the Classic, and it is now a 3-1 Italy lead.
Drew Butera had his best offensive year as a major leaguer last year when he hit over 280 for Kansas City. And I'll tell you one thing, he knows a thing or two about Jose Barrios as he once again uses that top hand to drive the baseball on the choke-up bat. And there's again no doubt with that swing from Drew Butera.
Boy, off the bat, that had the sound of the long ball. 3 runs on 2 hits. Here's Cicchini with 2 down and nobody on. Their shortstop, a couple of hits, 8 at bats, and the pitch will be there for a strike. So Team Italy continues to just pound away with the home runs. That's 8 of them now that they have hit in 2+ games. That'll go to the hole. Lindor is up. Throw in. He got him. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. Nobody left on base. Well, the offenses continue for both of these teams. We'll see Puerto Rico coming up in the 2nd inning. Roberto Perez from the Cleveland Indians doing the catching today. He's coming to the plate. What a World Series he had. 2 home runs, 4 RBIs in Game 1 against the Cubs last year with the Indians. He had to start 15 postseason games last year.
He was brilliant. He's a great leader behind the plate. He's got some pop in that bat. And the Molina brothers, all of them told me, hey, you know what? October provided for him a nice showcase. A lot of people did not know about Roberto Perez, but many people do know now in the clutch.
And a check swing, and the strike as he went around. Perez getting his first at bats in this WBC. He missed 2.5 months at the beginning of last season with a right thumb surgery problem, so that's why he kind of came on late, as it took him a while obviously to get in game shape during the season. So he was in his best condition probably when the World Series rolled around physically.
Pitchers absolutely love throwing to him. And we know all about that staff. The Indians have a good young staff.
Yep. And a good guy behind the plate to handle it. Count goes to 3-1. Aviles and Hernandez, bottom third of the order, up for Puerto Rico here in the 2nd inning, with Italia on top 3-1. And that one is going to miss down low. So there's the 2nd walk, and they both have been leadoff walks surrendered by Lugo.
Drew Butera, of course, was telling me before the game, I feel terrible about what happened at that collision at home plate. He goes, I actually went behind the plate in the tunnel to talk to Salvador Perez right after that, when he was getting taken over for this exam. And Salvi said, man, no hard feelings. You're just playing the game right. And also, pardon me, Gary, he said he rolled over on his shoulder, but he goes, it was my back that actually got him more than anything. He goes, my shoulder's fine. It's my back that, you know, got the knee of Salvi Perez, and we're hoping everything's fine with him.
Here's Aviles with a runner on at first base. In fact, Butera tried not to hit him. It got awkward because he kind of held up a little bit, and Perez got his leg caught underneath him as Salvador Perez fell backwards. They're going to take x-rays today, but the word was it was an inflammation problem, and they hope that's it. They'll take a look structurally today. He is not going to play anymore in the WBC, obviously. So he's out, and the irony of having the starting catcher for the Royals hit in the WBC by his backup catcher playing against him is just a story you couldn't make up. Base hit into left field. Aviles, his first at bat in the WBC. And Puerto Rico's got runners on at first and second base with nobody out.
Go back to Butera is just the he goes, I was rushing. running through this tunnel. You and I know about trying to find the alleyways around this ballpark, right?
Good luck.
He goes, but I did find Salvia, and he needed to hear from me face to face.
So Enrique Kike Hernandez coming to the plate. Runners on at first and second. Neither of these pitchers having much luck here in the first 2 innings. And both these teams want to get the good 4+ out of the starters if they can. 3 hits on the board now for Puerto Rico. Hernandez getting the start in center field, batting in the number 9 spot. 25-year-old out of San Juan will take the pitch up high for a ball.
Kike, a valuable asset to this ball club. He can play anywhere on that field and shows the ability to really versatility, also adapt quickly to game situations.
Playing for the Dodgers. 1-0 pitch on the way. That'll be a strike in the outside corner. He hit a .190 in 109 games with LA last year.
Part of what has made him valuable the last few years with Dodgers organization is the ability to crush lefties.
And that's why one of the reasons he's in there in center field. And that one goes the other way and out of play, foul. So Lugo able to come back at the strike on him in a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Top of the order, Angel Pagan waiting on deck. This Puerto Rican team trying to get back not only to the second round but to the finals. They lost to the Dominican Republic in the last WBC in the finals. That one's lifted. That's going to be a gapper and fall in. Perez will make the turn. He'll come around to score. Aviles is going into third and on with a single, and an RBI is Hernandez, and Tally's lead is cut to 3-2.
Good situational hitter all the way is Kike Hernandez, who absolutely loves to see those lefties, especially now that he's got a young one who is missing so much out over the plate and unable to get back into counts or get hitters to expand. So certainly all playing to that balance that Edwin Rodriguez keeps talking about having on his bench.
So a little meeting at the mound to try and settle Lugo down. Last thing they want to do is have to go to that bullpen way early in the ball game. 3-2. There's still nobody out. The 3 hitters up in the inning have all reached, and they're back to the top of the order. And Angel Pagan. Pagan started it out with a double, and he came around to score in the first inning. So Pagan now 3 for 9 in the Classic. Throw over with the runners at first and third. Didn't take us long to talk about their offense, and it didn't take them long to both of these teams to show us they've come out ready with the bats again.
Yeah, so far I think it's shown that it's a little bit too much for Lugo to handle at this point. And just not seeing the confidence that we're talking about when he's tall over that rubber, just to let it go, and that fastball in the low 90s. And when you have no location, even though you might have some velocity and lack of movement, it's problematic against this type of offense.
1-0 delivery on the way to him, and that's going to miss away. So he's working behind hitters, and the count goes to 2-0 on Pagan. This Puerto Rican team loaded with major league names. There are 15 players from major league teams playing in this WBC for Puerto Rico. 2-0 delivery, a chopper towards second base. Does Calso. They didn't tag the runner. There's one. He hit the runner. We're going to get an argument on interference here as soon as the out is made. Tag is put on Hernandez. Aviles from third base coming across, and that was a little tricky.
At some point, I counted 7 Italian defenders in a circle there.
Circled the wagons.
They all gathered. Now, Descalzo does the right thing, running back, but then it shouldn't require more than one throw. And here's where you see Descalzo tripping over the runner Hernandez finally put out.
Aviles, meanwhile, while watching all this, is able to score and ties the game up at 3-3. Well, that was interesting. We have seen some unusual plays in this WBC. So a run in. There are 2 down now as they get the rundown on Hernandez. That'll bring Lindor to the plate. Bases empty. That one down to third is a foul ball. He grounded out his first time up. Liddy trying to flip it into the seats with his glove, missed, but came back with a nice rebound there.
Too much pine tar in it. Hey, pine tar is also part of your glove, your basket, your webbing.
Cicchini gives him a little what for his shortstop. And the pitch will miss inside. Lindor, 1 ball, 1 strike count, 2 down. Game is tied at 3-3. Here in the bottom half of the second inning. No RBI in that double play. Pitch will be taken outside. Infielders on this carpet play way back. A lot of them in the middle. Infielders will play in the outfield part of the artificial surface. That ball in the air to right field. Andrioli circles and will make the catch. Lindor retired, so is Puerto Rico, but they come away with a couple of runs. They do it on 2 hits. That leadoff walk costly. That run scored. 3-3. Nimmo, who is playing in center field in this game and coming to the plate. July 1, 2016. That is his first major league home run. He got it off Jason Hamill. Cubs were the opponents, and one of those you don't forget.
You will never forget, just like the one he hit against Venezuela last night here. Towering drive to deep center field against Bruce Rondon, himself a major league pitcher.
Ball game tied at 3 as we go to the top of the 3rd inning. Leadoff batter drew a walk his first time up and came around to score. Let's see if either of these starters is able to find a way to settle in. 0-1 delivery on the way, and that'll be foul back, so he does get ahead here. 0-2.
There's something Nimmo was sharing with me, Gary, and you'll like this. He goes, my goodness, I did not know this was going to be this much fun. He goes, I'm growing as a player. I'm getting to understand more about my teammates here, but certainly this is great competition. He goes, I'll sell this to anybody.
And a strike on the inside corner. So he goes down. Rios gets his second strikeout. Well, I think that's a comment you generally hear from players. They are surprised at the level of competition and the emotional displays that are involved in WBC games. I've not heard many who've come to play who say they didn't like it. It's fun.
It's a lot of fun, and certainly he's got a lot to pass around to some of his Mets teammates.
Yep.
And having a good time with one of them in Cicchini.
So one away here in the 3rd inning. Andrioli delivered a big blow, a home run, his second of the Classic in the 1st inning. Upping his RBI output to 6 in the 3 games.
This kid is some kind of strong middle to right center field.
Andrioli also has some outstanding speed. 0-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be taken up high. We talked about how the home run power has come. He had 12 home runs at AAA ball last year. He had only 8 in the previous 425 minor league games he played.
With his swing, it'll continue to develop.
Andrioli going after one that breaks down and away. 3rd strikeout.
Well, here's what Ricky Bona is pitching coach for Puerto Rico, and of course their manager Edwin Rodriguez were hoping for. They know Barrios has to fight himself once in a while with the mechanics, the emotions, and not to rush to the delivery, but what we're seeing now is a guy that perhaps has found it, Gary, by trying a little less.
Well, that will really help. If he can throw strikes, get outs, work his way deeper into this ball game, will be an enormous help for Puerto Rico.
No, because there's no questioning his stuff. Look at that. Just flips it over. There's strike 1 in a good spot, too.
Off-speed pitch to Cervelli, the designated hitter. Cervelli grounded out his first time up. 2 down, bases are empty. Chance for a quick inning. He couldn't stop on that one. 1 around. Swinging strike on Cervelli.
Well, that's some life. That's a late tailing action and a fastball at 92, 93. You commit, but it's hard to stop. Look at that.
Rios, as we said, if he's in the strike zone, you're going to have trouble. And another check swing. This one hits the bat rather than the bat hitting it. Another one that had great ride coming in on him. And the count will stay at 2 strikes on Cervelli. Rios was a first-round pick, 32nd in the 2012 draft out of high school in Puerto Rico. 0-2 count with 2 down, trying for a 1-2-3 inning. And that'll be away. On the count, outfield shifts a bit towards right as Hernandez took about 5 steps towards right field after that last pitch.
And playing pretty deep.
Very deep. 1-2 delivery on the way, and that's going to be foul back. The outfield positioning here, left field's got the least room to have to cover from the position to the line. Once you get into the power alleys, though, enormous amounts of territory to cover, right center, left center. Well, you almost necessarily have to play a little bit deeper than you might otherwise to prevent balls from getting through and going to the wall. That one is going to be taken, so Cervelli, who fell behind early in the count, able to take a couple of pitches, evens it up.
You know, you can afford to play deeper because the ball's going to hang. So that looper, that ball off the end of the bat, the little possible Texas leaguer is going to also carry a little bit more from the infield into the outfield where you have more time as it hangs in the air to come get it.
It's going to be in foul territory, maybe playable. Right near the stands. Nice catch made. Avila's coming over, and he kind of quietly surveyed the scene and found he had room. He was right up against the stands, moving over towards it. 1-2-3 inning as a result of a fine defensive play in right field. It remains a 3-3 game going to the bottom of the 3rd. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of World Baseball Classic Inc. may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Gary Thorne, Jose Mota on this Sunday here in Mexico in the World Baseball Classic. Coming down to the days where the teams that are going to go to the 2nd round are being selected. 2 pools have already completed that play. Now the one here and the one in Miami. To figure out which 2 teams out of the 4 in each of those pools advances.
Well, it's been a very offensive oriented pool so far, mainly for Puerto Rico and Italy, and yesterday finally Venezuela was able to get a lift offensively, but can't ignore what Puerto Rico has done on the mound and the fact that they've had so great outings from Lopez and from Lugo. And the relief pitching has been outstanding, and Puerto Rico comes into today with a 1.13 ERA.
Pitch is going to be taken down low. Correa. That is walk number 3 surrendered by Lugo. And again, as happened in the 2nd inning, it is a leadoff walk. That leadoff walk to Roberto Perez in the 2nd resulted in him scoring. No, nobody out, and Beltran coming to the plate.
Gary, the leash for me is very short with a guy like Lugo because he's showing that perhaps this stage is getting too big for him.
Yep, he's really trying to finesse this, and that's not working. Beltran flied out his first time up, goes down to 3rd. That's going to be a base hit. Rolls into foul territory all the way into the corner. Seguin going to get it. Correa's got speed. He's coming. Correa will come home. Cutoff man hit. Here's the throw, not in time. A double and an RBI. Beltran gets his 4th run batted in and gives Puerto Rico a 4-3 lead.
That is as professional as they come when it comes down to a switch hitter who has provided throughout his career just solid offensive performances from both sides of the plate. Carlos Beltran likes the pull side more from his right side, and he's up here a couple of times. One got full when he popped up, but not this time. He was able to extend and know exactly what the little cut fastball is doing out of the hand of Lugo, and got some great extension. And once again, leadoff one. Puerto Rico's on the board. They keep rolling, and they can truly go out there and manufacture runs in a hurry.
Got to get Lugo out of there. I mean, this is not a must win for Italy, but they would obviously going to be in much better shape if you are 2-1 than if you are 1-2. He just isn't getting anybody out.
It's too much for him. I mean, you don't even have to look at the results and just look at his body language and his face and his eyes, where, you know what, it does happen to a lot of kids.
So that will bring Baez to the plate with a runner on at second base. Baez a base hit and an RBI his first time up. Both of these teams have put up exceptional numbers with runners in scoring position in the first two games, as Puerto Rico coming in 8 for 16 in these situations, and Italy 9 for 18. You're hitting 500 with runners in scoring position, you're going to score some runs.
No, they're hitting good pitches, working counts, and
one slips away.
Fighting off tough pitches. We saw it happen in the first game. Osuna for Mexico, proven big league closer. Italy comes back and scores 5 in the 9th. For the same reason you talk about, just the discipline and grinding out some awesome at bats at any time.
Goes after one that's up over the eyeballs on that one. And Baez with a 2-ball 1-strike count. He does not get cheated at the plate. We have continually seen Javier Baez let her rip.
There was only 85 miles an hour, and that is one place where Luis Lugo cannot live with that speed.
Baez will chop that one. He had a weight on it. Liddy will look and make the play at first base. So Baez is retired, 2 down. They hold Beltran at second with 2 away.
And Gary, the dilemma for Marco Manzieri is, well, the bullpen hasn't given me anything either.
Yeah, where do I go?
But he does have pretty much every bullpen arm available.
Well, he's going right now. So not going to take any more chances. Vargas due up, and the starter Lugo is going to come out of there, having worked 2 and a third innings, which is about half of what they would like to have gotten out of him. So far, he has surrendered the 4 runs, 5 hits. He had 3 walks, no strikeouts, and he's responsible for the base runner at second base. Who we got?
I think it's Romano.
Jordan. Dennis Vargas coming up.
Dennis Vargas, David Ortiz, they've called him the little Big Papi, all because of the resemblance in David Ortiz's body and the way they stand at the plate. Obviously, Kenny's is a switch hitter. And we'll look to get maybe just half of those numbers that Big Papi provided throughout his career.
That would work. Runner at second base. Ball bounced. Did it hit him? Yes, it did. On the front foot. So Vargas in his first at bat here in the WBC will be on. And they hit batter. And this is Jordan Romano, who is coming on to do the pitching. He's a 23-year-old with the Toronto Blue Jays. He has picked up a win as he got the victory in the first game this team played, coming from behind with the big win they got. He worked an inning, didn't give anything up, and had 1 strikeout in that game against Mexico.
Those decent numbers he's had in the minor leagues last year need to come in to play quickly here to stop Puerto Rico.
Perez at the plate, and the pitch will be taken down low for a ball. Roberto Perez, who is doing the catching, drew a walk and scored in the second inning. Beltran's on at second base, Vargas on at first. A run in on the RBI double by Beltran to make it a 4-3 game. Puerto Rico on top. Still only 1 down in the inning. Pitch tailing away. Supposed to have a pretty good slider that he uses as his secondary pitch. Fastball be anywhere between 90, 91, and 96. But he too could be all over the place. Matter of controlling it. 1-1 delivery on the way. That will be at 92 up high.
If you watch his delivery, there's something that the pitcher coach just has addressed with him. When he splits his hands, sometimes it's just a little bit too late to be able to get a good hold of the baseball. Is watch when he splits his hands.
He's got a little hitch there.
Then he taps.
Yeah.
Consider if you tap that late, how effective are you going to be in getting the right grip on a consistent basis? Not to say that you're not going to get it, but on a consistent basis.
Count here, 3-ball 1-strike count. Perez goes after it, drills it. Will it be fair? Right at the foul pole. No. Just missed. Winford Berkmans, the Dutch umpire, third, right on the line watching it. It's called jumping on a pitch.
You've done enough baseball in October to know what playing in October effectively can do to a career. And that's what's happening right now with Roberto Perez, as the Indians were getting some calls about him all of a sudden in the offseason.
Yeah.
Huh?
Surprise.
Big stage.
Had a great World Series.
Just great. I recall when nobody knew who Omar Vizquel was. Nice career in Seattle, this flashy magician at shortstop. All of a sudden, came October, Omar Vizquel's on display, and everybody in baseball knew a little bit more about it.
There's no question performances in the postseason in baseball, your negotiating power dramatically increased if you have good ones. Perez waiting on it, and the pitch will be inside. Another walk. That's the 4th walk surrendered by the 2 pitchers, and that's going to load the bases. So Romano has come on, issued a walk and a hit batter. They're full, still only 1 away, and Aviles coming to the plate, who picked up a single his first time up and his first at bat in this WBC. Chance for some run scoring here in the 3rd. Infield, only 1 in is at first base. Colabello. Aviles takes the pitch for a strike. Everybody else playing back at double play depth.
Just noticing Cecchini and the way the ball gets through the infield. He plays up the middle more than I would like to see, knowing what Italy has and knowing the swing from Puerto Rico. Just a little step or 2 to the right, I think, in the situation will be ideal.
Count goes to 1-1. That's going to be down low, 2-1. Jose Valentin, the first base coach, an extended discussion was going on with Roberto Perez because of where Colabello was playing. Colabello was almost in the baseline. Valentin was talking to him about getting out of the way and telling the umpire, hey, keep an eye on this. He may interfere with the runner. It's kind of an interesting position. Colabello on a ground ball will come home. That one is going to be fouled off the end of the bat by Aviles, and the count goes to 2-2.
Interesting that you noticed that, because Valentin was telling me today before the game, when I said, hey, I saw you pointing to the base with Rosario saying, I want you to round. Not only were you yelling round and stop, but you were pointing to the base. Then he goes, hey, Jose, I have to be visual and I have to be vocal. So in that case, as a former major league player, Jose Valentin understands the communication never stops. I mean, there's so much in the crowd going on, the adrenaline and the push, where sometimes you got to tell the guys just stop, but also keep watching.
Yep. And he wants Perez also to get an enormous lead. Swing and a miss on a pitch away. Aviles went after one that was out of the strike zone. Romano gets a big strikeout. 2 down.
They get bigger by the at bat here for Team Italy. Outstanding finish. He got the right grip, and he was able to execute a key pitch at a crucial time.
Puerto Rico's only 2 for 7 right now with runners in scoring position in this game. 7 chances, though, through the, haven't even finished the 3rd inning. Off-speed pitch, and that is going to be in there for a strike. Nicky Hernandez picked up an RBI on a base hit his first time up. Bases are loaded. There are 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Number 9 hitter, the center fielder. Pitch to him, and that's going to be there for a strike as well. A slider that was up high but moved across with late action.
Much better.
0-2 count.
Much better finish. Kike Hernandez did in that first at bat, 2nd inning single, what he does so well against lefties. Hit him.
0-2 out. Everybody back in the infield now with 2 down, way inside. In fact, Terra to get it.
Hernandez's numbers career-wise, 40 points higher on the average against left-handers than against righties. Talking 230 against righties and 270 against southpaws.
And see what he can do against the right-hander out of the bullpen. Romano. 1-2 delivery on the way. Fastball. That will miss up. That one came in at 93 miles an hour. These 2 teams both putting pressure early on the opposing pitcher. A lot of pitches having to be thrown to get the outs. 4 runs, 5 hits, Puerto Rico. 3 runs, 2 hits, Italy. And that one's going to be up high. And Butera immediately raised the mask on his head and says, give me a timeout here.
As you and I have talked pretty much since the beginning of this tournament. Italy brings an 8.05 ERA. Can you think about what the ERA would be if the walks were reduced and the hit batsmen were reduced? Probably somewhere in the fours. But 8.05 mainly because they open the door so often, thus they have to play catch up on the offensive side.
Coming in, having scored 20 and given up 20. Full count, 3-2 delivery on the way. And struck him out! And down goes the bat of Tiggy Hernandez, who can't believe it. He thought it was low. Dan Bellino did not. 2 big strikeouts by Romano. 1 run in on just 1 hit. Perhaps more importantly, they leave the bases loaded. Kike Hernandez, Jose, in disbelief on the last pitch.
Yes, and Kike Hernandez should know that that's close. It might have been a little bit low, but certainly Dan Bellino has called it before during this game. You see how tall he stands? He's not really bending down those legs, so of course it looks a little bit lower. And it was low, but too close.
Got him. And they leave the bases loaded. So we've got a 4-3 ball game. Puerto Rico on top, 4-5-0 through 3. 3-2-0 for Italy. 4th inning. Ball put up in the air by Segedin. Bermuda triangle. Nice catch made. Shortstop going out and just putting the glove out like, hey, I am Francisco Lindor.
Who else? Beauty of this whole thing is, as you and I were talking, where outfielders need to play in this ballpark. Also, infielders are so aware of that, so maybe under normal conditions and elevation, he knows the ball is going to carry a little less. Thus, his outfielder is playing a little shallower, but he goes, hey, I know where the gaps are. I need to go out there and expand and make this play.
I mean, that's not that easy. That's when you know what kind of a ball player Lindor is defensively.
Olay in Guadalajara.
That's a tough catch. Here's Descalso. He flied out his first time up. Barrios' pitch will be down low for a ball. Looking at the vendors running the food through the ballpark here. The pizza man just went by. That's what I had for breakfast.
That's what smelled.
Yeah, it was very good,
Nice.
actually.
A few tacos.
It was delicious.
A few chilaquiles.
1-0 pitch on the way. Something the concessions in the U.S. might want to learn from the concession operators here in Mexico. You do not close the concessions when the game's over.
Because the lines are longer.
That's
than.
unbelievable.
It's great.
Last night there were more people eating out there than there were at the game. That'll go to left field, not deep again. Back goes Lindor, and he puts it away. They keep the concession stands open. I don't know for how long after the game, but they all were there. The people were just out there buying food and beverages and having a great time after the game.
You have so many options all throughout this
my Lord.
ballpark. It's so clean. Smells wonderful.
Yeah. I don't think they ever stopped cleaning this ballpark, literally, even during the game. There are people mopping the floors, sweeping up, picking up. It's just a great job has been done here for this WBC in a really nice ballpark.
Plenty of employment opportunities here.
Yep. Pitch taken on the inside corner for a strike. 2 quick outs.
I like also how some of the local.
There we go. Good, eh?
Oh.
Whoa, mercy.
Little turkey. Where'd you get that bat?
How about a tomahawk steak? What do you think about that?
That works too.
That works too. Yeah, that's the way to eat. That's enjoyable. That's fun.
Take that to home plate, my friend.
You could hit a home run with that when you're done. 0-2 count and the pitch on the way, and that is going to be outside.
Let's talk food.
We
Okay,
had a steak the other night called a tomahawk steak that was shared by the 2 of us.
And we're wondering, why is it called the tomahawk?
It came out, it was a tomahawk. The bone on it was 3 feet long with a steak on the end. 1-2 delivery. And that one is going to be just a little bit low.
The Rios looks really good, and you can see now the types of swings, not getting a lot of barrel out of the contact made by the Italians, and how well he is finishing, all under control mechanically. Quality pitches one after the other.
Alabello thought he might have been gone on that last pitch. 2-2 delivery in the way. He's going to be gone on that one. Tag put on. And Barrios has really settled it in here. He retires the side in order. It's 7 in a row he has set down since Butera hit the home run in the 2nd inning. Go to the bottom of the 4th. 1-run lead for Puerto Rico. Now Pagan is going to lead it off here. And back in May of 2013, Giants at home against the Rockies, an inside the park home run. He got it into that well in San Francisco, and Michael Kadaya couldn't get to it in time. It was the first inside the park since 2004. Pagan got it, and here he is at the plate.
As they call him, Caballo Loco was galloping like crazy going around that ballpark.
He has picked up a double and a run scored in this ball game, and he's hit into a double play as well. And the pitch will be taken inside. Jordan Romano on in relief of Lugo. The starter gave up the 3 runs, all earned in 2 1/3 innings on 5 hits. 2-0 delivery is away, and again we'll have a visit to the mound. For Puerto Rico, the RBI by Baez in the first. Hernandez picked up an RBI in the second. Another run scored on the double play. And Beltran has an RBI double. On the other side, Andreoli a 2-run homer in the first inning, second batter of the game. Gutierrez hit a solo shot in the second for their 3 runs. Settles it in for a strike, take it all the way, 3-1.
Settling is important, as you mentioned, because he made 18 pitches to close out that 3rd inning, getting out of trouble. But he's fresh. He's only made 12 pitches coming into this game in the whole tournament.
Boy, this is really brutal for a pitching staff. That is the 3rd consecutive leadoff walk in an inning surrendered by Italia. You cannot get away with that.
And Marco Manzieri can address it all he wants, but he goes, it's up to the guys on the mound to go out there, not make the moment so big. And he goes, I'm very careful to address to the guys on the mound. Don't pitch to the last name in the batter's box. Pitch to the batter and the target.
So far, those leadoff walks have scored. Roberto Perez got one in the 2nd inning. 3rd inning, Correa. Both crossed the plate. And now here's a 3rd. Pagan with outstanding speed at first. Lindor has grounded out and flied out. We'll take that one for a strike. He now has picked up 3 hits, 9 at bats, 3 RBIs in the series. The switch hitting youngster we've seen make the fine defensive plays at short.
Keeps learning, keeps getting better, and he is thrilled to have in the Cleveland clubhouse not just his good friend Colabello, but also Edwin Encarnacion.
That won't hurt. Off-speed pitch going to go to second base. That's going to be a base hit. Andreoli up with it. Runner will stop at second. So the first 2 are on for Puerto Rico here in the 4th inning as they continue to put base runners on in all 4 innings of this game.
Well, Lindor happy to see the lefty out of there. He had been 0 for 2, and there he goes. Outstanding bat control and just a great group of athletes that make so many things happen very quickly against the opponent.
That's 12 base runners in 3+ innings. And that's why we continue to have the visitations to the mound going on here, just to try and stop the flow of Puerto Rico. Brian Sweeney, the pitching coach for Italy, has been out there a couple times.
So far, Puerto Rico team is 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position.
2 on here, runners on at first and second for Correa, who drew the walk his first time up and came around to score. Number 3 hitter playing at 3rd base. And again, nobody out. First 2 were on in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th innings. Pitch will catch the inside corner for a strike. We'll remind you throughout the game, for Puerto Rico, if they win it, they go 3-0. They'll be assured of moving on to the 2nd round. It is not an elimination game for Italy. They would go 1-2. This is the last day of the round robin with another game to be played tonight. But it's certainly put Italy in a much tougher spot as far as getting to the 2nd round if they lose this game.
And watching very closely are the teams following here.
Yeah.
Especially the team that has not won a game, and that is the host team, Team Mexico.
Mexico and Venezuela will play tonight, both still with a shot. Pitch on the way, and he launches it to left field. It is way back by the bullpen, and goodbye home run. Correa delivers his 2nd home run of the WBC. He'll bring in 2 ahead of him.
Just like his good buddy Francisco Lindor and Javi Baez, another partner. He continues to put on a show and to proudly wear those colors representing La Isla. Puerto Rico thundering throughout this pool. Once again is the all-star infielders with their youth, their contagious energy, their flash, and certainly that swagger is great.
That's going to be it for the reliever, as again, Team Italy's going to have to go to the bullpen. And again, it's about trying to hold down the opposition. They do not do it there. Reyes now has picked up 5 RBIs in this WBC, and it strengthens that lead now to 7-3 here in the 4th inning for Puerto Rico. Capaldi comes out of the bullpen for his 2nd appearance in this WBC, working to Carlos Beltran, and he'll go after the off-speed delivery. Beltran has delivered a double, an RBI, and he is flied out to left field. 3rd pitcher used by Italy. Capaldi, Italian-born, trying to shut down this Puerto Rican offense. Bases are empty, still nobody out. First 3 hitters here in the 4th inning reached and scored on the Correa home run. 7 runs on 7 hits for Puerto Rico. 1-2 delivery on the way and cued foul.
And what a career for Carlos Beltran. Consider he is now 3rd most RBI among switch hitters, trailing only Eddie Murray and Chipper Jones. And Carlos Beltran passed Mickey Mantle, who is now 4th on that list.
Not a lot of people have passed Mickey Mantle in anything.
Ooh.
Swung on, and that will be fouled off.
That's pretty solid. He continues to be a productive hitter as he's switched leagues, and it doesn't matter. Man can play the game.
Count on him, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Capaldi's delivery, and that's going to be up high. So for Jordan Romano, the reliever, he went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 3 runs, 2 hits, 2 walks. They both scored, and a couple of strikeouts. Lugo, the starter, 3 runs, 5 hits in 2 and 3rd innings. So some real problems trying to find the pitchers here for Italy.
And coming into the tournament, they knew that was going to be the biggest problems, and unfortunately, the guys that were asked that could have participated for Italy with big league experience just turn it down.
Yep. Correct myself on Lugo. 4 runs off the starter. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Beltran had to go back and get a new bat. Baez and then Vargas are due up here in the 4th inning. Puerto Rico looks to secure a spot in the 2nd round with a victory here in the opener of the 2 games we played here in Mexico today. Pitch on the way is swung on and foul tipped into the mid, held on to for the strikeout.
That's a good start there for Capaldi. Really hit Beltran guessing as much as we've seen anybody guessing for Puerto Rico all throughout the pool.
Second baseman Javier Baez. Baez RBI on a base hit in the 1st inning. Grounded out his 2nd time up. Defense straight up on the right-hander, and he'll pop one up. It'll fall into right for a base hit. So Baez with a big cut and got enough for the dying quail. He's got 2 hits, 2 for 3 in the ballgame.
When we put it down here, it all looks the same, right? It was a line drive to right field, smoke to right field.
That's what it'll be tomorrow.
Yes, it is. The big swing he has, of course, he's more vulnerable to getting some cue balls out there, but of course when he runs into something like last night, it is beautiful.
8 hits on the board for Puerto Rico. Double play depth with 1 away, And the pitch to Vargas, who has been hit by a pitch and grounded out, is taken for a strike. Puerto Rico continues with this offense. 11 runs, 10 hits in the first game. 9 runs, 13 hits in their second game. And already 7 runs, 8 hits in this game. That's a lot of offense.
That's a lot of offense. That's a lot of presence on the base pass. And spread all from 1 to 9. Everyone has been on base at least once.
Vargas with some home run power, switch hitter. Long look and a step off. Vargas split time with the Minnesota Twins at the major league level in AAA Rochester. He had combined 25 home runs, 78 RBIs with over 480 at bats. That's going to skip through all the way to the backstop. Taking a big turn at second and hanging on is Baez as Butero went back to retrieve. So they get another runner in scoring position.
And for Kenny Vargas, Gary, the opportunity is there to grow into a full-time major leaguer with the Twins. They're hoping that the last year's performance combined can go out catapult and to just grab a hold of a job in the big leagues.
He is 26 years old. One ball, one strike delivery on the way to him. And a little bit of the off-speed stuff had him out in front of it. Vargas has got that big cut. We'll go to 1 and 2.
Good job there by Capaldi, just like he did to left-handed hitting Carlos Beltran, and even to Baez, who hit an off-speed off the end of the bat. He's got a great feel now for the finish on his changeup.
Look back in the 1-2 delivery, and that's going to miss outside.
Boy, that delivery from up here, we knew what was coming. He was aiming and really slowed down his body.
Two ball, 2 strike count. Capaldi's delivery and another one off speed, and that's going to miss outside. So a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 away. The runner on at second base as Puerto Rico try and add more. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third. Already they have picked up 3 here in the 4th inning. Here's the 3-2 delivery on the way. Towering fly ball down the line in right field. Carries back to the wall where it is hauled in. Andreoli got it, tagging up his Baez, and he will move over to third base. And that was with the wind blowing out towards right field on that at bat.
Well, Capaldi can take a deep breath. Again, he knew as a hitter, Vargas knows that changeup is coming. How good of a job can I do staying back on a ball that under normal conditions and elevation, perhaps just a fly ball to mid-right field. He loads up nicely, has a little tap, lands on time, and then that changeup speed gets him off. He gets more of the end of the barrel than anything else. Otherwise, it's way out there. Just enough offset with the speed to get him off balance.
So the runner at third base now with 2 away. One the other way. That's going to go foul. Roberto Perez at the plate. The catcher has drawn 2 walks in his plate appearances. 3 runs in on the homer by Correa. After the walks have gone, Lindor got a single, and they all scored. Correa delivering his 2nd home run of the WBC. Perez, 0-1 delivery to him, will just miss away. As Puerto Rico now has gone 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position. They've had so many people on base. If you get normal course of a major league game, if you have 7, 6, 7, 8 chances with runners in scoring position, that's usually about what you get in a ball game. Puerto Rico's had that, double that number in the 3 games that they have played. I mean, they're just getting so many people on base.
Well, think about this. I mean, this offense has been so spread out that you serve as a table setter no matter where you hit, and you also serve as a clutch hitter, middle of the order guy no matter where you hit.
Yep. Up and down the lineup. 1-2 delivery on the way again, the off-speed pitch, and it is a called strike 3. So Capaldi will get the strikeout, but the first 3 were up, and the first 3 are in here in the 4th inning.
Visita mi casa. You want to visit my house?
Sure.
No, it's visitors at home. Look at the scoreboard here. As you can talk about adding pressure to a young and talented and feisty Italian team, but Gary, playing from behind time after time, game after game, at some point, it gets the best out of you.
Got to wear you out, and that's what Italy's had to do in both their previous games, and now got to do it again here. They had a 2-0 lead going to the bottom of the first inning, but Puerto Rico has come back and now leads it 7-3. We go to the fifth inning. Italy needs some offense. Liddy is up, flied out, left field first time up. Butera, Cicchini, bottom third of the order. Alex Liddy, the veteran who had a tremendous Mexican League year, 2016, where he hit .281, 23 home runs and 91 RBIs for Liddy. He's also had a good deal of major league experience. Swing and a miss. Berrios right now is the story of the ball game. The 22-year-old right-hander who is on the mound. He's the one who's settled it in, giving up a home run in the first, one in the second, and after that home run by Butera in the second inning, he has given up nothing.
And there he gets the margins, all because consistency, Gary. One more down.
It's 5 strikeouts. He's picked up and one away here in the fifth inning.
He really has found the delivery. Smoothness, able to repeat it, not rushing at all with his delivery towards the plate, mechanically strong to be able to get ahead and put some guys away off the edges.
Berrios gets that first out. He's retired 4 out of 5 leadoff batter. Was only in the first inning where he gave up a leadoff walk. The leadoff man's been on base against him. 0-1 the count on Butera. Butera, his second WBC home run, came in the second inning, a solo shot. Goes after that one and taps it fair. He's out. He's going to be. So the tag put on. Perez jumped on it, and the ball got out in front of home plate. So it's a fair ball, even though it only went about 6 inches. And the out recorded, number 2.
Oh, another interesting encounter for Butera along with one of his catching colleagues. Squibs is in front of the plate. Alert play by Robert Perez. He dropped it actually in fair territory. No matter what, it was already there. I think that ball's coming back, but Perez does a great job reading the spin coming back to keep it in front of him.
Unassisted for the catcher, and there are 2 down. Here's Cicchini. He goes after one sliding down and away. 2 quick outs. 0-1 count, 2 down, nobody on.
Everything what Puerto Rico started with. Seth Lugo, brilliant, 65 pitches. Jorge Lopez, 59 pitches, and they are getting the projected outs, Gary, plus 1 or 2 more they were counting on, all because of the effectiveness of their starters, and then of course taking some pressure off the relievers.
Some idea why Berrios is still the highest drafted Puerto Rican born pitcher. 0-2 delivery on the way, and that one is going to miss up high. He was 32nd overall in the 2012 draft, selected by the Twins, and at the age of just 22, learning how to pitch. Some kind of future, it looks like, if he stays healthy. That's right there. He slaps his hand into his glove. Going to argue about it, Cicchini, but he's gone. Another 1-2-3 inning. That's 10 in a row set down by Berrios. And it's a big lead for Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico smelling victory here with a 7-3 lead. They know what it's all about. They went to the finals last year of the WBC. They would be defeated by the Dominican, and they're looking to get back there again and try and get it done. And with this team, who knows?
Who knows? And of course, back then in 2013, there's many people saying Puerto Rico is a surprise. Absolutely not.
No.
You talk about an island that has provided some talent through the years. And as you talk about Berrios and getting drafted, keep in mind, there was a time when Puerto Rican players could all sign as free agents.
Well, let's see what Italy can do to try and hold the fort here. Alberto, a veteran. Orlando Alberto is 36 years old. He's pitched in the Italian Baseball League in his career. 13 games this past season. Has never pitched outside, though, of the Italian League. And he will bounce that one. This is his first appearance in this WBC. Garpaldi worked an inning, gave up a hit, and a couple of strikeouts. The delivery is going to be taken inside. Aviles, Hernandez, and Pagan.
Gary had a chance to talk to Orlando Roberto over in Arizona before the teams headed over here during their workouts. He's from Barquisimeto in Venezuela.
That one in the air to left center field. Nimmo going back at the warning track, and the wall reaches out. It'll bounce. Making the turn at second base. Aviles is on his way to third. He'll go in easily with a triple to lead off the 5th inning. 2 for 3 for Aviles, making his first appearance in this game in the WBC.
Wonderful versatility. Aviles already with a nice running catch in foul territory in right field. Ability to drive a baseball, an experienced player at World Baseball Classic play for Team Puerto Rico. A quiet leader himself and gets it done. Getting it done on both sides of the baseball.
So he joins Rivera of Puerto Rico as far as the 3 baggers are concerned. And that one, that's going to go into the gap. It'll roll all the way to the wall. Hernandez is going for a triple. Relay throw. There is none to the base. Back-to-back triples. Iggy Hernandez, his second RBI of the game. It is 8-3 Puerto Rico.
Impressive display of the ability to Puerto Rico to capitalize time after time, and that pressure continues to mount on. Is just way too much at this point for Team Italy and that bullpen.
They cannot find anybody to get people out, and they have an injury. Nimmo in center field, hanging on to the back of his leg. This is Andreoli going back to get that one.
And the bleach and that hair continues to get rubbed.
Hammy?
That's what he's holding.
It's only a guess, but that sure is what it looks like.
It was on the effort he made on the ball, hit by Aviles.
8 runs on 10 hits now for Puerto Rico. They've scored in all 5 innings. So the new center fielder will be going out, and there'll be a new leadoff batter for Italy. So Alberto comes on and has no luck any greater than the previous 3 pitchers for Italy.
At all. I mean, just not able to go out there and execute a good pitch or follow an 0-1 into an 0-2. And here's what we're looking at. Nimmo, as we should say, when he hits the wall. Then as he tries to retrieve the baseball, that's when he feels it right there, Gary. Yep. The second step on trying to retrieve the baseball.
He reached back. So they'll allow the new center fielder to come in and get warmed up. Actually, I think we're going to see positions change here. We're going to get a new left fielder. Sebastiano Poma is going to come on, and he's going to go to left. And I think Seguin is going to go from left to center.
To right. And
to right.
Andreoli goes to center.
All right, we'll move them all around.
Sir, spring training.
That's right.
It is March.
Don't get a lot of that, thank goodness, in the WBC. They got Pomo in left, Andreoli in center, and Seguin in right field now, the outfield for Italy. Back-to-back triples to open up the 5th inning. Runner at third base, leadoff batter Pagan has doubled, walked, grounded out. He has scored 2 runs already. And a check swing, and did go around on that. Santos Castillo, first base umpire, confirming that. Only 1 triple for Puerto Rico in the series coming in, as we mentioned. They've added 2 here in the last 2 batters. Infield drawn in. Ball off the end of the bat and foul.
Well, Gary, worth noticing and mentioning that the way they're swinging the bats, the ineffectiveness of The pitcher is on the mound for Italy. This could be over very soon, actually.
Can have a termination. That ball is nubbed again off the end of the bat and will go foul. It's a regulation game whenever one team is ahead by 10 or more runs after any complete inning.
Well, that is something everybody has in mind, and we already saw it happen once against Venezuela.
Yep. Still nobody out here in this inning. Infield stays in. Pagan swings over the top of it. He is out of there on a strikeout. So Alberto gets the K for the first out here in the 5th inning. The termination rule in the WBC, now note it's the 1st and 2nd round games. Team leads by 15 after 5, you're out. You lead after 7 innings by 10, and you are out of there. Terminates. Order to protect pitching. What you're trying to do. Infield will stay in. 1 down, and that one is going to be foul back. Lindor has had a base hit, 1 for 3. He also has scored a run. Lindor's both driven him in and crossed the plate. He has scored 4 runs in the WBC, and he has picked up 3 RBIs. Towering fly ball towards the gap in left center. Look at that thing carry a couple of steps short of the wall. Tagging up and scoring Hernandez. Andreoli just kept drifting back as that ball kept going. So add another RBI on the sac fly for Lindor, and it is a 9-3 game.
They go out there with a mentality that pretty much carries all throughout the game, with the at-bats, the presence, play discipline, but also it's the confidence it really has shown since the minute they took the field here in Jalisco.
So there are 2 down.
Long conversation with Correa and Cervelli.
Yep.
Or pardon me, Butera. Cervelli today as a DH.
He has drawn a couple of walks. Cervelli will take the pitch for a strike. He's delivered the long ball, or Correa, with Carlos Correa in the 4th inning, a 3-run homer, which has upped his output to 2 home runs and 5 RBIs.
Roberto has not hidden the fact that he is a changeup specialist.
And will miss up high with it.
Fastball in the 83 to 85 range. But he does not have enough fastball to pitch inside and the confidence to miss in the inner half because he can't afford it.
Another one that's going to miss up high. A 3-ball, 1 strikeout on Correa. 5 walks have been surrendered by the pitchers for Italy today, and this is the 4th on the mound. Beltran waiting on deck for a chance. Pops that one back on the 3-1 swing.
How about this meeting here? Is that saying hi? That's pretty intense right there.
Yeah.
For this tournament.
Pretty serious discussion. 3-2 delivery to him, and that's going to be foul back.
I was wondering if it was about the bat flip after the home run from Correa. Take a look. Now watch this. When you turn, look to the flight of that bat all the way into the ground.
Strike 3 called. Didn't like it. Correa thought he had picked up the walk on that. Alberto gets the strikeout, his 2nd, but another big inning. 2 more runs added, and it is now a 9-3 lead for Puerto Rico. Well, Puerto Rican fans, and there are lots of them here. A little early celebration in this ball game, but understandably so. Their team going with a 9-3 lead, trying to go 3-0. We welcome those of you watching on the MLB Network. Gary Thorne, Jose Mota here in Mexico. First game of our doubleheader day, Italy and Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's got the 9-3 lead. They come in 2-0 in this pool, so a chance to guarantee a second round with a victory. Italy is 1-1. It's not an elimination game for Italy, but they lose this game, obviously that much harder to get in, as they'll have to hope for a little help and maybe a tiebreaker situation.
And once again, we see showing up for Team Italy that Achilles heel that really has been an issue for them, and just so many runs allowed.
They've not been able to shut down Puerto Rico, as they have scored in every inning of this ball game, with 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 3 in the fourth, and 2 more in the 5th inning.
No pitcher and no staff has been able to stop Puerto Rico so far.
Pitch will be taken away now. Natalia's got to find a way to get into this thing. Barrios, the young starter for Puerto Rico, is out of there. Aaron Burgos from the Brewers organization is on to pitch, a 29-year-old right-hander, and that one will be fouled off at the plate. This is Poma at the plate, the new leadoff batter, Sebastiano Poma, who came on as Nimmo, the center fielder, who started left with what looked like a hamstring problem in the last half inning. So he's out of there, and Poma is in. Count to him is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Burgos' pitch will be grounded towards third base. Correa up, and we'll get it there in time for the first out here in the 6th inning.
It's amazing how Carlos Correa has quickly adapted and playing next to Francisco Lindor at third base. And they have all put in their time to get familiar with each other. From the middle with Baez and Lindor, all the workouts they've gotten here and before they got here in Arizona. But Correa especially, from the angles, from squaring off his shoulders to finishing off the throws, make sure they don't tail too much into the inner side of first base. And he has passed every test here so far.
Pitch will be taken on a bounce. John Andreoli. He's continued his outstanding WBC. First inning, second batter up, delivered a home run with a man on. He's had 2 home runs in the WBC and 6 RBIs. He struck out in the 3rd inning. 9-3 lead, Puerto Rico.
It's amazing too, Gary, is how well they've all adapted and accepted their roles. As I was walking up to this booth today, saw the batting cage, and Carlos Delgado had every player just parading through it. And at some point, you know, one of the players says, you know what, this is like a baseball clinic. We're learning from people that have had success, that care about the country, they have performed, and certainly we know what's at stake. You know, that flavor and the taste of having gone to the very final game. Certainly something that is really carrying along here throughout this pool for them.
1 ball, 2 strike count. 1 down, nobody on. Swing at a foul tip on a ball that was way away. He had the scouting reports out in the cage. I went by. I was kind of kidding with him, but you're really going in depth on this thing. He was turning the pages, talking to the hitters. They've got scouting reports with so many major league players involved, and he was going over those along with looking at the potential opposing pitches and what they had on them. 1-2 delivery on the way. Thought about it. Stays off the off-speed delivery, which is outside. And the count will go to 2-2.
And now you have scouting reports all based also on who's catching.
Yeah.
And what his tendencies are on certain counts and what a catcher likes to call. So they have information coming into this game on Drew Butera.
Andreoli at the plate with a 2 ball, 2 strike count. And went for the corner and didn't get it. Burgos thought he had it on that one.
There's Carlos, and next to him Ricky Bones. But boy, what an impressive amount of voices are surrounding manager Edwin Rodriguez.
These staffs for all of these teams in the WBC, coaching staffs, big names. Down to third base. That is going to be a foul ball. Eddie Rodriguez, their manager. Delgado's considered the bench coach. Carlos Baeger is the hitting coach for Puerto Rico, but of course Delgado's in there with him. Ricky Bones, who we've seen out there, the pitching coach. We've got Jose Espada, third base coach, who does that with the Yankees. Jose Valentin, the first base coach. Jose Molina, the bullpen coach. I mean, that's a pretty good list of.
And don't take for granted Italy's coaching staff. They are very experienced.
Here's the 3-2 delivery on the way, and that's the outside corner strike. Andreoli down. 2 down.
Well, Carlos Delgado knows a thing or two about causing a little damage here and there at home plate. Backspin, contact, power, spread the ball, everything in both leagues. A very successful career for Carlos.
2,000 hits. 3-time Silver Slugger Award, best offensive performances out of that position. Is Cervelli 0 for 2. He is grounded out and flied out. Cervelli's the DH in the ball game. He's now 4 for 11 in this WBC. This is really the first time an opposing team has been able to hold Team Italy down.
And both regular catchers get a little rest here in this day game. Cervelli is a DH. Molina, Yadier not playing today for Puerto Rico.
1-0 pitch on the way to him, and that close but not quite. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Our second game will be coming up tonight. Even though Mexico is 0-2, they've still got a shot. They will play Venezuela tonight. On the air with that one at 10 Eastern, 8 local. 2-0 pitch, breaking ball. Did he go around? They'll check at first base, and no, he did not.
Well, Gary, it's time to at least try to break it down a little bit. So if it stays the way it is here and Puerto Rico goes on, they'll be 3-0, but Italy will be 1-2. And tonight, Venezuela 1-1 against Mexico 1-2, or 0-2. With a win, Mexico could go 1-2, along with Venezuela 1-2, and Team Italy could also be 1-2. So 3 teams could be with that same record and still have a chance.
Just hit me when you're done. I'll wake up and
Done. You want to see
Okay.
you want to see a graphic?
no, it doesn't help. 3 ball, 1 strike count with 2 away. My mind shatters when we start talking tie breaking. That one to center field, and that will be caught as Hernandez is out there in a 1-2-3 inning. Boy, it's been a long time. That's going to be 4 innings in a row that Italy has been retired in Detroit. Eddie Rodriguez between innings, the skipper for Puerto Rico, talking with the home plate umpire Dan Bellino. He's going to start taking some players off the bench here, guys who've not had a chance, and get him into the ball game. And starts right out here in the 6th inning. Beltran out of there as the designated hitter, and Rene Rivera, who is the 3rd catcher being carried by Puerto Rico, will come on as the pinch hitter. And Rivera goes after one on the delivery by Alberto and fouls it off.
Roberto Perez is catcher number 2, and as you mentioned, Rivera is catcher number 3, a good receiver himself.
9 runs, 10 hits. Puerto Rico 3 runs and 2 hits for Italy. Alberto, and there's another base hit. So Rivera comes off the bench and delivered a single, and another leadoff man on base in this ball game, which has been the way Puerto Rico has gone in all 6 innings.
That's a great job coming out the bench, watching a couple of games from out there, and then being ready to deliver and implement a good hitting plan. So true to his word, manager Edwin Rodriguez said, I need everybody to be a contributor. And even though he can have the luxury now of resting some guys, it's also about keeping those other guys sharp, because you just never know.
You need guys ready to play, and this is a great chance for him to do that. Pitch will be taken for a strike. Javier Baez. Baez has had a couple of singles, 2 for 3 in the ball game. He's picked up an RBI. He has 5 runs batted in here in the Classic this year. Leadoff man on at first base. Pitch by Alberto is way up high. Alberto came on and gave up a couple of back-to-back triples, 2 runs in the 5th inning. The 4th pitcher used for Team Italy today.
Looking forward to see how big these swings are going to be from Baez. That's at bat.
That one up the middle. Boy, was that hit hard. Scoop Cicchini, Descalso in a double play. Stung it, but right at shortstop Cicchini.
He's not out there to get fooled. Stung that baseball, and Cicchini does a great job staying with it, starting low, knowing that that turf is going to get it to you much quicker with his nice reaction. Glove low, have enough time. That's where you gauge the speed of the ball hit and give it right to your partner and let him do it.
2 down, nobody on. Pitch will be taken by Vargas. Vargas, his first start in the 3 games played for Puerto Rico, is 0 for 2, hit by a pitch. Vargas will take the left-hander's delivery down low, and the count will go to 2-0. 11 hits on the board now for Puerto Rico. 2-0 delivery. It's going to be in there for a strike. So double digits in all 3 games for Puerto Rico in hits. 10, 13, and now 11. And the breaking ball was close, but does not get the call on it. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, Dominican Republic made it easier for the rest of that pool to go out there and find out what they're going to do, but they took care of business. Dominican scoring 7 times in the 11th, beat Colombia 10-3 in a hard-fought ball game for Team Colombia all the way. And Gary, that scenario over in Florida could also get a little convoluted.
That's going to go down to the final game tonight. Canada takes on the United States in Miami. So we'll see what happens with the outcome of that ball game, with the U.S. of course having gotten the victory 3-2 over Colombia and then lost to the Dominican 7-5. Canada has lost to the Dominican and Colombia, but got a chance for a win tonight.
That scenario should be very similar to what could happen here tonight.
There's a walk which will keep the inning alive. Vargas is on. So still no inning in which only 3 batters for Puerto Rico have come to the plate. But Roberto Perez, he's drawn 2 walks and been called out on strikes. He has scored a run in the ball game. Everybody in this lineup for Puerto Rico has been involved in the offense, either getting a hit, scoring a run, one way or the other. They'll not hold Vargas at first. He's not going to go anywhere. 2 down here. 1-0 delivery. Off-speed pitch will miss up high. Perez takes it, and he's ahead on the count.
A proud country, and they should be, only because also they are fresh off of a Caribbean Series title last month in Culiacan. They beat Mexico, and certainly baseball, as many might question, but baseball is solid in the island of Puerto Rico.
That one is in there for a strike, and the count will go to 2-1.
This pool of players with Lindor and Correa and Baez, etc. But now a newly elected Hall of Famer, and Ivan Pudge Rodriguez is making many people proud back in the homeland.
Bounces that one off the plate. 3 ball, 1 strike count on Perez. Vargas on at first base. Little breeze blowing.
Does that remind you of anything? Old San Juan? Cigars?
Popped up in the air. Mostly mojitos. Played in center, and Andreoli is there to put it away. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, had 1 left on base. We've completed 6 and a 9-3 lead for Puerto Rico, trying to go 3-0 here in the WBC. Puerto Rico with a 9-3 lead in this ball game as they exploded in the first 5 innings for a run, at least 1 run in each of them. They have used the long ball. Correa's had a 3 RBI home run in this ball game that mattered, and Italy's just not been able to shut them down. Back-to-back triples in the 5th inning. Aviles and Hernandez got them, and they've got the 9-3 lead and out hitting Italy 11-2. As Italia's runs came in the 1st inning on the Andreoli home run, 2nd batter of the game, and then the homer by Butera in the 2nd. But those home runs are the only hits they have. And the last 13 to the plate for Italy have been retired.
That's just the way they've been able to do it, all balanced out by giving the pitchers enough to work with, because the bats have been so constant and so consistent. Their presence on the bases, just nothing wasted every time they got an opportunity.
Seguin is leading it off here. He has popped out and flied out. Descalso, and then Colabello will be due up. Puts it in the air to right field. That's going towards the gap. Not going to quite reach the warning track. Aviles is there to put it away. Seguin is retired, 0 for 3 in the ball game. 1 away, top of the 7th inning.
There's youngster Iran Burgos. He's got that face, he's got that focus, he's got the determination to go out there and expand and continue on to what his teammates have done on the mound. All started with Seth Lugo, Jorge Lopez, and the rest of that bullpen. But Burgos comes with very impressive numbers into this WBC in his 4 games of previous action in the WBC. An ERA of 1.02.
1-0 count. Descalso has flied out and popped out, and will take the pitch down low. Again, a chance for a starter to win a ball game here. Lopez and Lugo are the pitchers who have picked up the wins in the first 2 games.
It's amazing. You ask a guy, you know, on the minimum, hey, get me through 4, give me 12 outs somehow, and they've got him more than that.
Vargas will make the underhanded toss. There goes covers, and there are 2 away.
All because Gear, really, they've been around the zone. They throw strikes, and then the quality of the strikes increase as the situations get tougher.
No, they've got the balance.
Yeah.
They have a very balanced team. That's the problem for Italy. They've had the offense, but just have not had the pitching. 2 quick outs here in the 7th inning. Colabello coming up has struck out twice.
How about that move by Carlos Correa? Hey, thin air. You just had this long run to first base and sprint. Let me give you a little time, my friend, to catch your breath.
Breeze is actually blowing in a little bit now. One of the few times here in the WBC games here in Mexico that we've had an in breeze. Colabello with a home run, couple of RBIs. He's gone 2 for 10. Flags unfurled out there in the right center field power alley coming in. 0-1 pitch on the way, and that'll be up high.
Colabello was off to a good start with the Cleveland Indians, his new ball club, man, spring training, putting up some solid numbers. And another player that mentioned to me this morning, Edwin Encarnacion, who was a teammate of his in Toronto, and they're back together now with Cleveland. So the influence of a guy like Encarnacion, Jose Bautista, manager John Gibbons, the opportunity that Toronto gave him, he will forever be grateful. But he goes, hey, by the way, I cannot wait to hear more about Mr. Terry Francona to play for him.
2-1 pitch taken up and in. Count goes to 3-1.
As you know so well, Tito is a beauty. Sometimes no signs. You know what? Just play. What signs? Play the game.
My former broadcast partner.
And a good one.
Came to the booth after he managed in Boston, but didn't stay there very long. Headed right back out to manage.
He needed to go out there and win some games.
Cleveland's my pick to win the World Series.
Look how far they went last year, and the year before they surprised a lot of people, but not that clubhouse.
Swung out and missed on foul tips as home plate umpire. Into the glove, and the count goes to 3-2.
You start with their pitching. You start with the clutch players they have. Gritty and the Kipnis of the world, and of course Lindor. Now they add Encarnacion. Hopefully we'll get something out of Michael Bradley too. Get a healthy one. And of course then there's pitching. Numero uno.
And there's Boston. 3-ball, 2-strike count with 2 down. And that'll miss a little bit away. So with 2 down, a walk, only the second walk picked up by Italy. 2 down, a runner on. I think my Orioles are going to surprise some people again this year if their 2 young pitchers can come through for them and fill out that starting rotation. That East is going to be just a mountain to climb again. Red Sox loaded left-handers.
Oh yes it will. Getting the ball to your closer now. You talk about a guy living on one pitch at the most darting sinker ball in baseball with velocity.
That one's going to go down the line in right field. Avila's going over. He's got plenty of time to get there, puts it away, and that'll do it here in the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. 7th inning stretch time. First game of our doubleheader here in Mexico. 9-3 Puerto Rico. One of the tragic losses for his family and for Major League Baseball, Roberto Clemente. They were few any better. An irony, they ended up with exactly 3,000 hits, 317 career batting average. The Pittsburgh Pirates, great outfielder and slugger. who would end up dying in a plane crash while trying to provide assistance in an emergency situation in the off season.
And a very special number 21, proudly worn by so many Puerto Rican players and Latin American players through the years in honor of that great man, great ball player, great humanitarian, Roberto Clemente.
We got a new pitcher on the mound, Nick Fante, just 20 years old. He's out of Smithtown, New York, selected by the Phillies in the 2015 draft out of Hauppauge High School. 90s fastball, low 90s. Good breaking ball for a strikeout pitch, and a baby face to go along with it all, but put up some numbers. Not many walks and some good strikeouts. Fante delivers inside, bottom half of the 7th inning. A few raindrops coming down with the cloud going by, but still a lot of blue sky up there.
Well, for Fante is pretty much as a youngster, going out there and maybe providing a little lift for your offense and keeping that deficit where it is. Because, yes, they are the comeback kids.
Maybe a little harder to do in this game, I have a feeling.
It's a little harder to do because it's hard to repeat it time after time after time.
Yeah. First 2 games, Italy has had to come back, and they've done it. 1-1, lost 1. Aviles takes the pitch in there for a strike. He'll want to come back and pick that bat up quickly.
There's Juan Gonzalez. You talk about numbers having put up in their career. Juan gone. Igor.
Aviles with a triple, a single, a run scored, 2 for 3. First game he's played in here in the WBC. Left-hander's delivery to him. That'll go to third. Liddy is there. He'll make the play. Aviles is retired. 1 down, bottom half of the 7th. Hernandez, number 9 hitter, and then Pagan at the top of the order due up for Puerto Rico. 9-11-0 for them. 3-2-0 for Team Italy.
Alex Liddy, who just made the play, he feels that sometimes playing here in this ballpark, he feels like a local. Plenty of experience playing here at Estadio Charros.
And has played it pretty well.
He's the one that kind of warned his fellow infielders as to how this turf was going to play.
Resurface the infield portion of the green. Outfield portion is turf that's been here a while. Pitch taken up high. Hernandez. What a first game for him in this WBC. 2 RBIs, a run scored, 2 for 3 with a triple and a single. Getting the start in center field. Kike Hernandez will take that one in the dirt. And a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
Kike's looking good, getting ready for another season also with the Dodgers. But in mind is that mission of being part of a champion for Puerto Rico. He's got another lefty up there, Gary.
Doesn't mind that. And that'll be a base hit.
No, he doesn't.
So he's got a 3-hit ball game. 3 for 4 for Hernandez as the double digits in hits continue to increase up to a dozen now for Puerto Rico.
He adds a lot of value to your ball club, and as his manager wanted, I got to keep these guys ready. Hernandez and Rivera and Roberto Perez, give them a chance. At any given time, those guys are going to be big for me. I expect to be on this thing to the end. And, you know, Edwin Rodriguez made it no secret. It wasn't about day-to-day, let's see how we do. He says, we're here for one thing. We're here to win. That's it.
They were favored, and they're doing it. And win here, and they guarantee themselves a move to that second round. 1 down, runner on. That ball put up in the air towards center. Andreoli's got it lined up almost right where he was standing. Pagan is retired. Pagan, the second out here in the 7th inning.
Always see so much new talent come to the surface, and sometimes the unknown is the best one. But Andreoli, and how impressive he has been in our eyes for what he's brought, Gary, to this tournament and to this competition.
He looks for real. Andreoli's had a little more power than was expected of him here with a 2-run homer in this ball game for Italy.
Yeah, no doubt. And the speed, we know it's there. And the family lines, the genes are there too.
Pitch taken up and away. Lindor with a base hit. He's 1 for 3. Picked up an RBI his last time up and a sac fly, so he's driven in 4 so far in this WBC for Puerto Rico. Runner off first base, little roller. It's going to be an infield hit right there. Runner stops at second base. Lindor on with a single. His second base hit. Down to second goes Hernandez. 2 on, 2 down. Hit number 13 for Puerto Rico.
Yes, pocketed Alex Lely. No need to try to make a play since you have no play. And once again, that smile continues to flash all throughout Guadalajara, Jalisco, and Paquito Lindor.
Tomas Rivera will be the pinch hitter.
Hey, locker mates saying hello.
Rivera will come up with 2 down. And runners on at first and second base. Well, let's see what Rivera can do as he gets an opportunity at the plate. 1 hit, 7 at bats for Rivera. Pitch will be taken down low for a ball. Rivera's appeared in the first 2 games, obviously, with the numbers that he put up. He's had a home run, 3 RBIs. He will hit for Correa, who also had a home run, 3 RBIs in this game. That's a strike call, leaned away, but it was there at the letters.
Well, it was T.J. Rivera with a long drive out of this ballpark that sealed the deal and knocked out Venezuela and Deolis Guerra in game number 1. He can put a thunder on pitches in his zone just like he tried there.
That'll be taken for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strike count, 2 away. 1 out single by Hernandez at second base. Lindor with the infield hit with 2 down on at first base. Left-hander and a wild swing and a pitch away. Tag is put on and they get the strikeout. So Fonte gets the K. No runs on 2 hits, no errors. 2 are left on base. We've completed 7, 9-3 Puerto Rico. Team Italy's done itself proud. A great nation, 5th most visited, 62 million. Gorgeous grounds and of course great history. 51 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And most importantly of all,
Yes.
3rd in wine consumption. If I lived there, they'd be 2nd. And of course, tremendous producers of the great Italian wine. Northern Italy take the rooster route. Anytime there's a rooster out in front of the vineyard, it means they're open for tastings. You don't want to go by.
Sir, whatever you say.
A ground ball up the middle. Fine play. 1 hop to first and in time to record the out. How about that play on Andrew Butera by Lindor? He used the carpet, bounced it over there.
Butera saying, Santos Castillo, I think you missed that one. Now, that doesn't take away from the athleticism, the flash, the range, and also the knowledge of a Francisco Lindor playing everything from the extension to the hop.
Fine play to get the out. First ball hitting. Zucchini, wind blowing it out. Stays in the ballpark. Avila's there to put it away. And there are quickly 2 down here in the 8th inning.
But what a difference when you see so much of a strike throw on the mound, huh? Those strikes, get them out. Early count outs are huge right now.
Only 2 pitchers used by Puerto Rico in this game. Belgaros has done an outstanding job coming on after 5 by the starter. Barrios.
Good stuff all the way around from Seth Lugo, Jorge Lopez. Barrios going only 62, retired 10 in a row.
Sebastiano Pomo coming up. The 2 down, nobody on, leadoff batter. He's had only 1 at bat. He grounded out in the 6th inning. 0-1 pitch on the way, and that will be in there for a strike. The offense has just disappeared. Last hit was the home run by Butera in the 2nd inning. The only base runner since then, the walk in the 7th to Colabello. Ground ball will go towards second base. Baez has got it. Makes the play over to first at a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Puerto Rico looking to go 3-0 and looking to go to the 2nd round in good position right now, leading 9-3. Polinos. hard to add to the numbers in baseball.
Is that something all said by their father, Benjamin Molina, a well-known amateur player back in Puerto Rico, a local hero, but nonetheless, the bloodlines are tremendous. Solid catchers, outstanding baseball minds, and winners. Look at the rings, all they are spread out there.
Pretty amazing to get all three having won World Series rings.
Both Yadi and Jose have won multiple rings, for Jose with different ball clubs.
Frelon Florian has come on to do the pitching. Fonte out of there worked an inning. He gave up no runs, 2 hits, and struck out 1. So Italy will go a little deeper into the bullpen as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Rene Rivera came on to pinch hit, picked up a single. That one bounces underneath his feet. Come back across to keep the at-bat going.
There's Frelon Florian from the Dominican Republic. Why is he playing for Italy? Well, he has pitched in the Italian League for a few years. Lately for San Marino. And
citizenship by marriage.
Acquired citizenship. There you go. And getting used to playing 3 times a week sometimes is the toughest thing for the guys that go to Italy. They're like, it's not tough to get used to this.
Yeah. That one is fouled off.
Just as a professional player saying, well, where's the everyday stuff? Well, the rest of your teammates, the Italian players, are working 9 to 5.
The old-fashioned way of playing.
Yeah.
DeMarc warming up in the bullpen. Rivera, a 1-ball-2-strike count. Left-hander's delivery to him. That is swung on and missed for a K. Florian picks up the strikeout and 1 away. Marco Mattiseri, the manager of Italy, said that's one of the problems trying to develop baseball. He says the federation really should try and get more games. You can't just grow baseball with the limited number of games that they play in Italy.
And for that to happen, of course, the funding has to get better because you want to get better players too to come and join the league.
Pitch will be taken for a strike. Javier Baez. Baez, another big day at the plate. Couple of singles, RBI, 2 for 4. And that one is going to be way inside. Baez now with 5 hits, 13 at bats, home run, and 5 RBIs here in this pool play in Mexico.
And Joe Madden, world champion Cubs manager, keeping a close eye on Javi Baez and his development, of course, and the at-bats. The growth of a player that the Cubs know could be an anchor for them for many years to come.
Played a very solid second base and has driven the ball in his at-bats with those kind of cuts right there. Foul back, a 1-ball-2-strike count, 13 hits, 13-2, the hit advantage for Puerto Rico over Italy. And you see the runs Puerto Rico has put up. Some kind of offense. Venezuela, Mexico, Italy, the opponents. That will be outside.
Javi Baez himself, as he's about to get established, get the crack to the big leagues, and who's also dealing with the off-the-field issues with his sister, who had been born to it with an illness, and something he had, of course, always carried in his mind. And it was tough for the family. He made the adjustments, at times had to leave the ball clubs wherever he was, whether the big leagues or the minors, to join the family and be near her sister. She eventually passed away, and he says, boy, she was an inspiration to me, he says, as a player and as a person, and what she went through when people did not expect her to live that long. And certainly a very proud brother, and certainly a guy that was I wouldn't say forced to grow up, because of the responsibilities that he carried with the family. Admirable young man, fiery too.
The bench all ready to celebrate.
They're having a great time in the stands. Again, when is that happening here?
Got him on the strikeout. The Florian comes on and gets 2 Ks here in the 8th inning. 2 down, nobody on.
Oh, there's a lot of energy around here. My goodness. You mentioned about what happens after the games here and before the games. How about during the games?
Yeah, during the games in the stands, some of it good, some of it not. But it's good today. Puerto Rican fans are always celebrating. And when the game is done, Puerto Rico wins here, they will have their dancing shoes on, and they'll be holding the flags up and dancing away in the aisles, and they dance out of the ballpark, and they dance outside the ballpark, and live it up.
And players quite aware of what's going on in that section.
Family section down there. Kenny's Vargas up, 2 down, nobody on. Pitch away. He's walked it by a pitch, 0 for 2 with the ground ball out and the fly ball out. Puerto Rico building up the big lead through 5 innings. Not needed to score in the last couple. Down to third base. Liddy will gobble that one up, make the play over to first. Scooped up for the out. 1-2-3 inning. Italy's got 3 outs to work with as we go to the 9th, as they'll have close to the top of the order. Andreoli, the number 2 hitter, to lead it off. Puerto Rico up by 6. Well, the Dominican Republic looking to defend their WBC championship. They've taken the first step as they have picked up the win today. This is how they celebrated when they won it in 2013. A 10-3 win today over Colombia for the Dominican Republic. Puerto Rico would like to be the team that gets to go back against them again in the championship game in LA.
And that's where they're envisioning right now. The Dominican, during that run in 2013, went 8-0. So far, they're off to a 3-0 start in pool play as it happened sealing that deal with Miami.
So Team Italy, again, they will not be out of it with a loss here. It will depend on what happens in the ball game tonight, Mexico and Venezuela. Puerto Rico with a victory, 3-0, will guarantee themselves a second-round shot. Miguel Mejia will come on. This will be his first appearance in this WBC. 29-year-old out of Brooklyn, New York, in the Chicago Cubs organization. AA, AAA last year, and a swing and a miss to start out the top of the 9th inning.
Gary, with the many Mexican fans we've been able to spend time with here in Jalisco and Guadalajara, with 0-2 to still have a chance, it's something that really welcomes them back to this ballpark tonight. Consider that. As disappointing as they have been about the performances, they know that baseball, all you need is 1 inch of hope, and you can push that door, and you just never know what could happen.
Andreoli at the plate. He's had a great WBC. He had a home run in the first inning in this game, 2 in the WBC, 6 RBIs in the 3 games played, a couple of strikeouts after that.
Looking forward to see how this young man continues to develop. He's really impressed me. Andreoli.
Mejia gets a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Mejia will have 2, 3, 4 in the order due up against him. And the fastball comes inside.
Yeah, with the thick trunks, man, he can really push off. And of course, the more arms that Adrian Rodriguez can see, the more he knows that are going to be available for him a little bit later.
His pitch is there. He got him. Berrios, the starter, at 6 strikeouts. Burgos, who came on 3 innings, no runs, no hits, had 1 strikeout, 1 walk. Now Mejia on to try and finish it up. Italy's not had a hit since the home run by Butera, with 2 down in the 2nd inning.
Interesting delivery and trying to offset the hitter's timing. We've seen that a couple times here throughout this tournament by pitchers that perhaps are instructive of their pitching coaches. Sometimes you're just throwing the ball too early. Sometimes you're just timed way too easy for the hitter to see the baseball. Let's try something else.
Alessandro Veglio stands in. He has not had an at-bat in this WBC. He will be the pinch hitter for Cervelli, who had an 0 for 3 today. Pitch on the way, and that one is going to miss on a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
Marco Manzieri, their manager, doing the right thing. Giving these players a taste of what it's like. And to say, yes, I did get an at-bat, I did get an inning. I did get an out. I was on the field.
Pitch will come inside to him. Tough situation for the Italian manager. In this game they're going to lose, and he's not going to know whether or not he's going to manage another game.
Correct.
He's retiring, but he won't know until after the game tonight whether or not Italy will still have a chance to play again.
Just think about that. With the emotions running the way they have all throughout this tournament and the preparation for Mazzieri, just to go through that agony here today.
Down the line, that's going to be a base hit. It'll be played by Aviles. He comes off the bench, delivers the single, and that breaks the streak.
Oh, his teammates are so happy, Gary.
Look at this celebrating over there.
Look at that dugout. And veteran Salvatore right next to him. That's great.
You get one opportunity, and you come through.
Somebody was saying, hey, get the baseball. Look at that nice swing. And a good pitch going the other way.
Alessandro Velio gets it. He's on at first base. Only the third hit picked up by Italy in this game. A 9-3 lead for Puerto Rico, and that one is going to be fouled straight back. Here's Mario Cerini at the plate. Players getting an opportunity here to see what they can do in the ninth inning. Chiellini on for Seguin. At an 0 for 3, and he'll foul that one off. Look over to first base, not going to hold over there. And that'll be in there for a strike.
And Dan Bellino behind the plate is animated as ever.
2 down.
Oh, that's strike 3. It's a freezing job there. Good job behind the plate by both umpire and catcher. Bellino was right on that pitch all the way into the very little cut of that inner third.
So Descalso, the last hope to keep the game going for Italy, and he will take the pitch up high. Descalso 0 for 3 in the ball game, 3 for 11, 3 RBIs in the WBC play. He's got a runner on at first base, 2 outs. Puerto Rico ready to celebrate with another pretty impressive win. Well balanced one in this game. 2-0 count.
Well balanced all throughout in every aspect. In the drive, the competition they've enjoyed. They have thrived in clutch situations. And the talent level, they knew it was there, but really it took no time for it to show up.
That'll be into the glove, and that's that. Yeah, right there to haul in the line drive off Descalso's bat. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Puerto Rico's going to go to the second round as they will finish up this pool play at 3-0.
Truly admire how they carry their flag so proudly, how they showed up here in this pool, Gary, with an idea of letting things find their place with their pitching, which is superb. Of course, the parade of young and veteran stars, which showed up immediately and showed that leadership. And best of all, the fact that they really went out there with a plan, executed it, let it shine with that swagger, and never took a moment for granted. And as Eddie Rodriguez told us, Eddie Rodriguez said, hey, there's no small enemy. We know that, and they know they have taken a huge step in what is, of course, what they're hoping, a championship here in 2017.
9-13-0 for Puerto Rico, 3-3-0 for Italy. Italy will be a very interested watcher of the game tonight, Mexico, Venezuela, because their chance to move on will depend on the outcome in that game. That's going to do it here for our first of 2 And 9-3 the final. Congratulations to Puerto Rico and for Italy for their outstanding performance. They are 1-2 now, Italy, and Puerto Rico 3-0 here in pool play. For Jose Mota and all of our crew, we'll see you back here tonight. I'm Gary Thorne. Adieu.